All right, so our final segment today is going to be a little bit different. There were a lot of news stories that we wanted to cover, but we didn't want to really focus too much time on all of them. So we are going to rapid fire through a series of news topics that came out today. So, Rick, are you ready
I'm
to
ready to
rapid
go.
fire through some topics today?
I'm ready to go.
All
Let's do
right,
it.
let's do it. Our first rapid fire question, or not question, but our first rapid fire topic is that the Oscars are going to be changing their like eligibility for the films being considered for nomination to specifically include just some facet of diversity amongst the nominees and everything, and like for minorities and whatnot and everything like that, which is a good thing. Like overall, there's definitely,
Yeah.
especially in Hollywood, there's absolutely needed to be far more inclusion. Um, so like overall, this is a good thing in my opinion. There hasn't been a lot of news and information as to what that's going to mean. Like what kind of criteria is a movie going to need to have in order to be considered for rewards consideration at this point?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, that's kind of like my only fear with it, Rick. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. My only worry is that a film that is, let's say a movie comes out and it's the best movie of the year, but it was an all white cast. Like hands
Yeah.
down, though, unanimously, everybody's like, this movie is the best movie ever made. We'll say, could it still be nominated for something if it's like an all white cast, like or if it's an all black cast or whatever it
Yeah.
is? Like, is I don't want a movie to be not considered for, rewards in any way if there's not, just because it didn't have diversity. So that's probably would be my only fear with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like, so, but I mean, otherwise though, the fact that they're actually going to be going out of their way to actually, and not so much endorse, but just have the foresight and everything to go for considering more diverse films that like need to be
Oh, yeah.
like that's all good. It's all
I think
good
it's
stuff.
great.
And like I know, just if anyone's like wondering and wants to read more about it, like this article in general was on the New York Times, where it's like the initial announcement came out, and then the BAFTAs were already they already have BAFTAs are pretty much like the UK's like Oscars and everything, British acting award show, and they you can pull this up and look at it too, but they have their own diversity and inclusion policies. And if you read through some of these, I'm not going to read them all right now, especially since this is like rapid fire. Um, but just in case anyone's wanting to know, like they've already been doing like diversity and inclusion and have policies for it. And I read through them all, and as long as if the Oscars are going to like kind of do something more along these lines, which I think there was reports out saying that they're kind of looking at how the BAFTA does it to kind of make their own rules for it here in the Oscars, then it's my one fear was just talking about. I don't think would be a problem because as you go through a lot of these, it's almost like 9 out of 10 films pretty much qualify for all of these kind
Yeah.
of like fields that they have. So it's good, and I just hope that like I said, some things don't get excluded in an effort to include more.
Yeah.
Like that'd be my only worry. So we just have to see going forward how that kind of goes. Just let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. And our next rapid fire segment, Rick, is going to be some sad news.
Yeah.
Bilbo Baggins himself, Ian Holm, he passed away. So I just wanted to comment on that. That was he was really only known for, I mean, he didn't do like a ton of acting outside I guess like post Lord of the Rings and everything. He didn't do too much in like the acting
He was an
world.
alien.
He was, and he was really good in Alien. Alien was supposedly the very first movie I ever watched. Fun fact.
Good
Like
choice.
that's what my mom said. Like the first movie I've seen was Alien, which might explain why I love Alien and Aliens so much.
Yeah.
Not so much any other Alien film, but
I
I'll
like
defend
Prometheus.
Prometheus. I'll defend it.
Prometheus was good.
I'll defend it. People hate that movie.
I think it's great.
I liked it. It wasn't executed as well as it could have been,
Yeah.
but I liked it. But yeah, so sad news from Ian Holm passed away. Um, he was great in Fifth Element too. I forgot he was in that. You
Yeah.
remember? I love Fifth Element too. It's a
Oh,
great
that's a
movie.
great movie. Yeah.
Great movie. So yeah, sad news. But I also, some of the stuff I loved him as Bilbo and like those scenes where you remember the scene where he gets all, like, angry with the ring and then, like,
Yeah.
this dude, like, I love that scene, like, just the way he like, carried himself as Bilbo Baggins, I always just thought was really good.
That was a really
So
creepy scene,
it
honestly.
was, and it just comes out of nowhere and gets you.
Yeah.
But,
You're just like, "Whoa."
that's the thing too, like, he was really good at, like, doing something like that and, like, having the energy to do that, but then turned it off right away and there was, like, all happy-go-lucky Bilbo again.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know, so sad to see that he's gone. But, I mean, I loved everything he was in, so,
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. And then our next topic is,
Oh gosh.
AMC Theaters initially came out and said this is like a twofold topic, even though I have this article up here on Variety, okay? It says that they are going to be requiring guests to wear masks. And this is them backtracking off of like just I think it was the same day they came out and announced that they were not going to be requiring people to wear masks. And looks like there was a lot of yelling and a lot of backlash about that. So then they kind of backtracked their statements and came out and said, "Okay, we're going to require it, and everyone's going to have to wear a mask if when the movie theaters open back up."
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is probably a good thing. I mean,
Stop the spread
yeah, I
or
mean,
help with it.
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you gotta make sure everybody feels safe, and that's kind of the biggest thing. Like if
It's not
wearing,
about you necessarily. It's about,
yeah,
being courteous to other people.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like the way I look at it, dude, is like if you don't want to wear a mask, then don't wear the mask. But if you're gonna go somewhere that is requiring you to wear a mask, then just put on the mask.
Just wear the mask.
Don't make a scene about it and like just I never understand that it's literally just a little mask, dude.
It's
Like
easier to put the
just
mask on than it is to complain about
it
it.
is like people put so much more effort into like causing a scene and saying like it's their freedom. It's like no, it's not, man. It's not infringing on your freedom. It's not. It's a health issue. Like
Yeah.
I I don't know. That is one thing that just bothers me is how some people are treating the mask thing. Like I'll never get it. It's not like they're saying you have to wear a hazmat suit if you want to come in.
No,
Like
exactly.
I mean, all the mask is going to do is help prevent the spread and keep you safe and keep anyone else safe. So I think it's fine, especially if they keep the social distancing and everything off. And I'm sure you'll still be able to eat your popcorn. Like you'll probably just have to take your mask off, eat your
Yeah, yeah.
popcorn, put your mask on. Like
Just a common courtesy at
yeah,
this
it's
point,
just
really.
it's fine. So I mean, I definitely think it's a good move. Like like with anything, if you're gonna sit here and cram a bunch of people into a room together, it'd probably be a better idea if you're gonna wear a mask.
Yeah.
Like especially and also Alamo Draft House also came out and said the same thing. They're going to be requiring masks for everybody. AMC is going to be requiring masks for everybody. It's just a smart thing to do. Everybody should be doing it. If you don't want to wear it, don't wear it, but then don't get mad when you can't go to places.
Yeah.
I think it's that simple. Like, I don't know. What are you more comfortable going back to a movie theater with people wearing masks, and would you be less comfortable if you were in there with a bunch of people who weren't wearing masks?
Yeah. I To me at least, I I don't see many people wearing masks anyways, and it kinda sucks because the numbers keep going up. Um, I
Yeah.
just as long as I've got mine on, I'm cool, and wash my hands and,
Right. No, exactly. Yeah.
lead by example.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. It's not so much it's not it doesn't just come down to being a political or health issue, man. It's just like do what you can to make other people feel safe.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
not
try to
hard.
protect yourself too. Like cuz I mean, there's been so many like reports of the people out there who were against wearing the mask and they go somewhere and with a big group of people and then they come down with it.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
like it can happen. And it doesn't matter if you're for or against. The coronavirus ain't gonna discriminate, man.
No,
Like
no.
if you're gonna get it if you get it, and if putting the mask on in a big public place can help you or help someone else not get it,
Yeah,
then just do it. Just do it.
just do it.
It's not a big deal.
Nike,
Not a big
just
deal.
do it.
Just do it. All right, then our next topic is going to be Netflix is buying a Sundance Film Festival favorite. It's called Giving Voice. I'm not familiar with the film at all, but the main reason I wanted to cover this is just because it just goes to show, Rick, that Netflix has been taking a lot more not so much risk, but they've been taking a lot of like steps to like legitimize their brand and have more films like acquired under their brand that
Yeah.
are more prestigious, if you will. Like they went
Yeah.
out of their way and gave Martin Scorsese a buttload of money to do The Irishman and let
Mhm.
him, let him do his thing on that. And Marty may not have wanted it on Netflix, but he was able to get his movie made, and then Netflix got to keep it there. Then they had Marriage Story come out, and
Yeah.
they had that one come out. So they've just been taking a lot of steps to, really solidify them as a serious platform for their content, as opposed to it being kind of what it's been known for in a lot of ways, is just like, oh, it got dumped on Netflix,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
probably garbage. Like they've been definitely taking steps to make that not be what they're known for. Like
Yeah.
they're making, they're trying to make their content, be at a little bit of a higher standard, which is good because everybody has Netflix, everybody loves Netflix, even if it has a ton of content you don't even know exists because they can't market anything. Like they
Yeah.
literally, I don't know why they don't market their own products. So you never know when something's on Netflix until someone tells you.
Yeah.
Like,
Just word
and
of mouth.
yeah, that's all they rely on is word of mouth, and they have such a huge catalog and library of films on there that you'd think they'd have some better interface for, even if it's marketing within their own app. I've never understood why they don't have like just a section you can go to in the Netflix app that says like new and upcoming movies, and you just can just browse new ones. And like, I mean, it's surprisingly they've been around for so long that they don't even have a super great interface as far as cataloging all their stuff. Like, so it's just kind of weird to me, some capacity.
Yeah.
So I think this is cool. I want Netflix to succeed, and
I agree.
they're good. Like they always get a lot of weird, obscure stuff too. Like in lieu of getting a kind of being a dumping ground for a lot of content, they do get a lot of obscure stuff that you would never probably see anywhere else.
Oh,
So,
for sure.
and then much for a lot of these, independent films too, like that would be shown in the festival, they're giving, these independent filmmakers a platform for millions to be able to see their movie. To where like a lot of these things at like an independent film festival, they'll never get picked up, and the only place they will play is at these film festivals,
Yeah.
which is a shame. And if more of these streaming companies will go out and actually kind of acquire a lot of these more festival films, that'd be really great for the film fan community, and especially the creators of all the content. So I hope this is something we actually see more of going forward, and it'd be really great if more platforms actually did things like this, and even just to have like a curated section even of like festival indie films that like you can only see here. And like I think that would be pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
So all right, our next topic is going to be something interesting, Rick. So Ezra Miller, we talked about this a little bit before when we were talking about DC fandom. Ezra Miller's Flash movie has kind of been in a form of development hell for some years now, and they've gone through like 5 different directors, I think. I don't know. The movie was supposed to come out like in 2 years ago. And the most recent director who's been attached to the film has been the It director, Andy Muschietti. And a little bit of news came out from his sister, Barbara Muschietti. Um, I don't speak Italian, so I can't translate
That's
this.
yeah.
But what it does say is someone questioned on her Instagram. She answered a question about referring to is someone asked if Ray Fisher was going to be Ray Fisher played Cyborg in the Justice League, and they asked if Ray Fisher was going to be in the Flash movie, and she said yes. So
Okey-doke.
yeah, so apparently, I mean, Ray Fisher himself has pretty much came out and said that there's been no movement on anything revolving or involving Cyborg since Justice League. They were initially going to be doing their own Cyborg movie, and they at some point had plans just to have Cyborg actually do some sort of like buddy cop kind of film with the Flash. So I'm wondering if this is a news to Ray Fisher in any capacity, that maybe Andy has been messing with the script and making some changes to actually include Cyborg, because I would have to assume that since this movie has been in development for multiple years now, that Ray Fisher would have probably known at some point if he was going to be included into a film.
Yeah.
So this is kind of cool because I've I really liked the Cyborg character played by Ray Fisher in, the Justice League movie. I thought he did a good job. I would have wanted to see more of him. I don't know if necessarily we needed a whole Cyborg movie,
Yeah.
but I do wanna see more of Ray Fisher playing Cyborg. So, I think this is good. Do you think this is good, Rick? Do you expect to see Cyborg in this?
I think there's a pretty good chance. I mean, the words are right there themselves.
This is
Um,
true.
yeah, so I think that'll definitely be going down.
Yeah, I think another thing that might make this, before we go to the next one, that would make this seem pretty plausible is that, when the CW did their crossover most recent crossover event, and they actually threw in the Ezra Miller as the Flash cameo into the CW Flash crossover thing,
Yeah.
uh, Ezra's Flash does reference Ray Fisher's Cyborg in his short line. So, I mean, he didn't have to say that. He didn't have to reference, Cyborg in any
Yeah.
way, shape, or form, and they went out of their way to do it. So that might be like our first actual nod of Cyborg still being kind of relevant to the Flash story may have been from Ezra Miller back in the CW crossover, in all honesty.
True, true.
Who knows though? We'll just have to see in, 5 more years and maybe we'll see the movie and figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next one is a little bit sadder of news, maybe. Star Wars Celebration has been canceled for this year, much like San Diego Comic Con was canceled. Disney and Lucasfilm came out and officially canceled Star Wars Celebration this year. Um, I'm kind of wondering myself, Rick, with this. I've never had the privilege to go to Star Wars Celebration by any means.
No.
I
Be
wouldn't mind
cool.
going. I love Star Wars.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be great. But I was thinking about it and I was like, huh, what would they have even shown?
Yeah. I
That
mean, what
that
would they have to talk about?
Yeah, what do they have to talk about? If this was going on this year, this was gonna be in when was this gonna be? I don't remember when the original date was gonna be. But I mean, let's say if it was gonna come out at any time in the next coming months, what news do you have? Are
Yeah.
they gonna talk about some books, some High Republic books?
Yeah.
Mandalorian season 2?
Catch up on like Rise
It
of Skywalker.
yes, it's like is it I don't think they're gonna talk about that movie
No.
anymore. I think they're gonna start saying I don't think they're gonna reference that stuff, like, at all. Kinda like the prequels. They just kinda stop talking about them, and then all of a sudden people like them again now.
Yeah.
I think the sooner you just let it die, maybe future generations will find appreciation for it.
For sure.
But, I mean, no, I honestly just I think it's kind of a blessing to them that, they had to cancel it because I
Maybe
don't know what
they
they would talk about.
maybe they did it on purpose.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, maybe.
It's like we don't have much to talk about this year.
I
We got
mean,
this pandemic going.
yes, I mean, seriously, there would be nothing I can't think of anything they could have talked about that would have warranted a convention, alright? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure they could have talked about something and shown some stuff that would have been cool to see, but warranting, like, thousands of people to make a trip out to Anaheim or wherever was gonna be this year, I don't even remember, for a convention when there's no news, I think it was kind of a blessing for him.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just me. I don't know what else to really say about it. It sucks for everybody that was hoping to go, but take a step back and think like, well, what would we have even seen, right? There's no movie
Yeah.
coming out. There's literally nothing coming out for Star Wars that we know of aside from Mandalorian 2 at this point. So
Yeah.
at least that I can think of. So all right, our next rapid fire topic is an interesting one. Rick, I don't know if you saw this, but
Yeah.
Spotify signed a deal with Warner Brothers to produce scripted content for Spotify. Now,
Interesting.
this is kind of cool because I don't know about you, but like, do you use or do you listen to audiobooks or anything?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I like listening to audiobooks. They're good if you have a long drive. Like I would prefer to probably listen to an audiobook than listen to like Pandora or something.
Yeah.
Just eventually repeating the same songs you've already heard over and over and over again.
Exactly.
That's why like podcasts in general have become like so popular just because it's kind of like fresh content for people to listen to and things like and people enjoy doing it on their commutes and everything. And Spotify has been making a lot of big plays, especially recently here with the acquisition of Joe Rogan taking his podcast exclusively over to Spotify for just a little bit of change, right? It was $100 million deal.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
A lot of money.
yeah, I'm Spotify making some big moves.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
with this the scripted content from DC though, I think it could be really cool. I mean, they used to do like if you remember, it was kind of before our time, but over on like the radio, they used to dramatize like books
Yeah, like
and things
radio
like that.
dramas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it could be really cool for that kind of stuff to make a comeback, especially for something along the lines of like comic book material that
That'd be
really does.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of lends itself to it. And like if you remember, the the classic story of the people hearing the War of the Worlds.
Oh, yeah,
You
they
know what
thought
I
it was
mean?
real. Yeah.
A lot of people thought it was real because they didn't know it was just a dramatized, book reading essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the one thing I'm hopeful for with this is that, for one, I think they said it's gonna be, like, a bunch of, like, new original stuff, and, it's not gonna be connected to, like, the movies anyway, so there are gonna be, like, new original stories with all the DC characters. The only thing I would hope for is that they're gonna put, like, some more production value into it, kinda similar to how Star Wars does their audiobooks, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you listened to a Star Wars audiobook?
I've heard clips of them.
Yeah, I've listened to quite a few of those ones because of the production they put behind it. So if someone's on, like, a spaceship, you hear beeps and boops,
Yeah,
right?
like, in the background.
Yeah, you hear if there's, like, a space battle, you hear, like, TIE fighter screeches. If someone
Yeah.
pulls out a lightsaber, you hear it, They put a lot of production value into, like, the actual dramatization of, the story, and it improves the listening experience, makes you feel like you're a part of the world. So,
Yeah, yeah.
if they go that route with the DC characters, I think it could be. I mean, just with the growing popularity of like podcasts and everything like that, I think it could be a really big move for them.
Oh, for sure.
And I think it could be really successful if they get a good voice cast and like they make sure that you know every single character has a discerning different voice, because that's one thing that I know when I read, not read, but when I listen to like audiobooks, if you have one voice actor doing it, a lot of them are better than others at doing, multiple voices,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
sometimes it can kinda get muddled and you don't really.
Know who's
Yeah,
talking
you
or
you
yeah.
miss who's actually talking right now if their voice sounds too similar to another
It makes
person, so,
sense.
yeah, so if as long as if they put, like, some real heavy, good production value behind it with a good voice cast and they put some effort into it, which it seems like they would and Spotify would
You
want them
think
to
they would.
do. I think this could be really cool, honestly. I think it could be great, especially with, unfortunately, like, comic books, and just printed, form kinda being a thing of the past almost anymore, and how, like, people getting their content digitally, like, even digital comics are a lot bigger than they ever used to be. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I think more people actually read digital comics and actually go to a comic book store and actually buy physical copies anymore.
Yeah. I
So,
imagine.
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, just in our world, printed form material is, this kind of dying breed.
Going on
So,
the wayside, yeah.
yeah, this is good. This I could see a lot more people actually, a lot more companies put. If this is successful, I could see a lot of companies, especially with someone like Marvel, doing a very similar thing.
Oh, yeah, for
Like,
sure.
especially that. All right, Rick. Our last topic that we have today here for the rapid fire. All right. I kept this
Lay it
one.
on me.
I kept this one from you for as a special surprise because I didn't know. I don't know. You may have already heard about it, but this is it.
I'm intrigued.
Did you know that Vegeta, my boy Vegeta, in Dragon Ball? Well, for one, did you know you didn't finish watching Dragon Ball Super, right?
No.
Well, it was good. That's fine. I liked it. It was okay. But more importantly, like the anime is over and everything, but the manga it's still going on. Like the story has continued.
From Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, the story
Yeah.
of Dragon Ball Super has progressed beyond the events of the anime and the films. So there is new Dragon Ball Super continuity and material coming out like today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what happened was, and I remember this just, I wanted to save this as a final surprise topic because when we did 21 questions, we were asked who our favorite DBZ character was, I think by Majin Buu something.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And It's a great name.
Yeah, Majin Buu.
Majin Buu 69 420 XX or something,
Yeah,
whatever it
something.
was. Shout out to Majin Boob.
Yeah,
Um,
shout out.
but we were asked who our favorite DBZ characters were, and you said Goku. Boringly said Goku, and I obviously said Vegeta because he is the best. And this is what happened, dude. Vegeta has finally surpassed Goku in official canon.
Really?
He has finally surpassed him. All right. Yeah. So in the official continuity of Dragon Ball Super and in the most recent manga that came out, I'm not going to get into the full like story of like how everything's been going on by any means, but if you remember the Yadrat or whatever, however it's pronounced, the Yidrit planet that Goku learned instant transmission from,
Yeah, yeah.
that race of people on that planet. So during the manga, I get Vegeta went there for whatever reason, but it wasn't just to learn like instant transmission. Um, he ended up learning this other ability they had, like available, like to teach. That Goku even says later once he learns it, he was never able to learn. So, and then the power itself is kind of like weird to some capacity. I mean, it's cool, but it's kind of weird. It's called like spirit fission, I think, and it allows Vegeta or the user in general to be able to kind of like cancel and nullify out any sort of fusion
Yeah,
powers and like life stealing powers or like energy absorption stuff. He's able to use the spirit fission ability to kind of negate all that. So
that's pretty cool.
if you and I fuse to Narek,
Narek, as we talked
Vegeta
about.
could come by and
Like,
just make that not happen. Right at this point, like
that
just done.
sucks.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like now, my boy at the time I'm reading this is officially more powerful than Goku. Like
For
100%.
how long though?
Who knows? Because Goku's plot armor, and he's just the
It's true.
boring. Like I love Goku. He's fine, but like
I get
Vegeta
what
is
you're
just
saying.
Vegeta is just so much more of an interesting character. Just his arc was so much more compelling than Goku's. Like Goku's like Superman of this world. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's like depending on, unfortunately, with the benefit Superman has is that there have been different writers who were able to bring their own, takes and stories, to Superman to make him more compelling and interesting than just being a god. Whereas Goku has pretty much just been a god always.
Yeah.
That's just how he's been written. This is what it is. So like Superman kind of at least has the benefit of new and interesting stories being told that because the comics and the superhero comics, they break canon and create new canon like every other year. So that's one benefit they have over them. But like Goku's just always been kind of boring. Like it's just he's always the best. It just is what it
It's
is.
like
And
Superman. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. That's like at its core, it's like whatever. It's kind of these. There's never any stakes because, like, I mean, with DBZ
like what's gonna
anymore,
happen to him?
well, they're gonna die, but then we've seen like numerous times they can just come back from the death anyway. So
Yeah.
they the DBZ crew has probably done more fake deaths than Marvel has,
Yeah.
which is hard to say, right? I mean, like Marvel does fake deaths. Like, how many times has Loki died in the MCU at this point?
No.
I mean, he literally died like 4 times on screen. We've watched him die, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the DBZ people have all of them have done that numerous times. But yeah, that was our last rapid fire question, Rick. I wanted to save that for you just to kind of
Well, you
rub
sure surprised me.
rub that in a little bit. That this is a confirmation Vegeta's the best, dude. 100%
I
confirmation.
don't hear you.
What now?
I said I don't hear you.
What now, Goku over there? I can't hear the weak man. Can't hear him. Can't hear him.